Excellent. Welcome to the TAD Summit online conference. I am really happy to have John Stuckey with me. John, how are you?
Very well, Alan. Very well.
And thanks so much for being here. So, John's down in Australia. I'm here on the East Coast, so we may see a couple of glitches, but I'm hoping if we do have anything, we'll edit it out pretty well. So, what we're going to be focusing on, where we're starting this journey is, the Australian election. Messaging was important in there, of all forms, and the question we were asking is, well, which one? SMS, RCS, MMS. So maybe before we get to answering that question, John, maybe you could give a quick intro to your background and what you've been doing in telecoms.
Oh wow. Well, started in IBM. Started in IBM in 1986. Yeah, that'll give you some indication. Moved into telco in '92. I was part of the initial group that started a company called AAPT. We were the first competitive telco in the Australian market,
Oh, cool.
backed by some guys from USA Telecom and their billing system, which was pretty cool because it actually did graphs, and we sold that. And we were able to sell, but it was like old school, man. We're talking digit inserts, auto dialers, going in and having to put them in the. I'm old school, old school. So
Yeah,
did that. We sold that. We ended up selling that in '99,
gotcha.
um, like to Telecom New Zealand for
Okay.
like 1.1 billion, which was nice.
Wow.
And then yeah, that was nice. And then since like '96, I took over a chief executive role for an internet company that we'd acquired in '96. And then since then, I've been chief exec or managing director of like 7 internet IT companies,
Gotcha.
um, either like major turnaround or startup.
Hmm.
And so I've been in that space quite a long time. I retired in 2011.
I've heard that before.
And I went sailing. I think if you can see my picture, there's one of the boats in the background.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, I got dragged out of retirement by our founder, brackets my wife, in, in 2013. She'd had this brilliant idea in 2013 to start a company called Gift SMS,
Hmm.
which was to send a gift card as an SMS.
Yeah.
To say that was early would be an understatement. So that was a bit of a battle.
Yeah.
But we managed to make it click by looking at MMS.
Oh,
And yeah, really weird. And then so I came back into it full time in 2015 as sort of ops, money raiser, get it corporate, all that kind of stuff,
yeah.
get some clients and work on it. So that's how I got to where I am. I've been full time in this business since 2015. Eilish runs her technical team, and I'm chief troublemaker with the telcos.
Well, you have to be, otherwise nothing happens. They just run around in circles because there's always something better
Oh, I
coming
know.
along.
My great claim to fame is I was led the team that ran an anti-Telstra campaign on internet peering in 2000. Oh no, in 1999 and won.
Oh,
It was the first. Yeah, it was the first competition notice ever issued against a telco here because they weren't paying for peering traffic.
yes.
They were like, "This is our traffic," and we're like, "Well, we're the largest business internet company in the country. We've got valuable content too. You need to
Yeah.
pay us." And they were like, "No, we don't." And we're like, "Oh, yeah, you do." And so we got into bed with Optus and Aussie Mail at the time,
Oh,
and
gotcha.
we
Yeah.
mounted a joint action to the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, and we won.
Excellent. Oh, you should chat
Big
with
cash, big cash settlement. Can't tell you how much.
you should chat with Simon Woodhead because he's part of the London Internet Exchange and the tales they have to tell. In dealing with BT, it's because well, we're the incumbent, we're the greatest thing. Our rule is law, and then realizing no, there's a lot of other providers. With
Oh
a
yeah,
lot more
man.
to offer.
Yeah, look, man. I've been in it since like in that space since 96, where early in 96, I went to a boardroom. We just acquired this share of this company called Connect.com, losing 10, making 5.
Yeah.
And our customers were kids in bunks with drinking Jolt Cola. It was just mad. And now they're all like super wealthy because they got acquired and all those types of things. But yeah, so I remember being at a board meeting and being given a book, Internet for Beginners type of thing. And then, 6 months later, I'm running an internet company in Melbourne. It was weird. It was like amazing times. Times.
No, absolutely.
So let's summarize and say very old person in the space.
As I said, age is just a number. I'm just going to let Johnny in on the call as well. And there's the man. Hey, Johnny,
Hey guys,
how are you?
I'm so sorry about that. I got neighbor's kids over with this kid. It's like 6 at night. It's like a zoo. My aunt, her power line got taken down. She's 90 years old, so like she has no TV and no phone. It's like
Wow.
everything that can go wrong, goes wrong. I don't even know. I'm actually sitting in your car hiding from these kids. I'm waiting for the one kid's fault. My daughter kidnapped a 2-year-old neighbor. So I got to watch him. So, yeah, one of those days. How you doing, John?
I'm doing very well. Do I call you Johnny or Giovanni?
You can call me whatever you want.
Oh, Mr. Tyrone.
You can call me whatever you want, my friend. Just remember, I'll call you something back.
Yeah, I've seen that from the tone of your postings.
Yeah, it's like you. We're just same breed, different continents, same toughness, right?
Yeah, it's spade and shovel.
Yeah, it's all it is. Tough is tough, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree.
We were just doing some background, John was just introducing some of his history. We just wrapped up that when you joined, Johnny. So we'll get to the meat of the session now, which is just being the Australian election and just interested in what happened with messaging.
Why? I mean, he had a post that like half the industry commented on or liked. Oh, you did that already?
No, we'll get there.
No.
Okay.
Yours, because it just makes so much funny news.
Well, listen, we make comedy great again, my friend. You can thank us for making comedy great again. You can probably thank us because I think you're one side of you guys won your election because of him too, just like Canada.
Yeah,
definitely.
You know what I mean? People are afraid of whattever.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. So if you want me to launch into a quick, if you don't know what Australia is, we're 27 million people.
No, I know about Australia. I know about the country, amazing culture. Everything about it is awesome. I almost did a deal with Soprano Design with Tintec. We spent some time dealing with them because Soprano was going to acquire Tintec.
John, I must ask you a question before Johnny asks it. Do you want to buy Tintec?
Do you want to get enough money?
No, thanks.
Yeah.
Got my own issue.
But anyway,
I got 2 boys at university, mate. I got 2 boys at university and a wife who founded an IT&T company. Yeah, no, it's with a CPAS and built like a CPAS model that is. Anyway, I've got my own issues. Thanks, Johnny, though.
Okay. No, that was Alan. I didn't ask you.
I was just getting it in.
Oh, okay.
Johnny always asks it, so I had to at least have one try. Just to prove
I mean, John's a little pissed. He's pissed off at the carriers and with RCS. I don't think he wants to hear about buying anything.
Well, again, as you said, making comedy great again. I think that's partially what RCS is doing as well. But anyway, let's go back. We will cover the big LinkedIn discussion. How many impressions is it at now, John? Because you were
something like 48,000.
My God, that has got legs. But anyway,
it's got legs, yeah.
Honestly,
it was something that I just posted, and I thought, well, see how it goes. Like I didn't sponsor it. I wouldn't know how to do that, right? So and next thing you know, it was just this absolute pylon. And you kind of, like if you've been in our industry long enough, it's probably the most worthwhile purpose of LinkedIn I've seen, because it's being used for what it was supposed to be being used for. And you've got people coming in with great opinions. There's, nobody's, to the whole idea. Everybody's coming and going, yeah, this could be this, or this could be that, or yeah, maybe they shouldn't be sleepwalking into their own,
Well, I think there was a lot of pain in that post, and I think a lot of the industry feels the pain. And I think if anybody is worried about the carriers, they're really not worried about the carriers. That's a false pretense.
Yes.
Nobody actually gives, and anybody tells me they do, I'd like to put them under a lie detector. So what's going on is you have a disruption in the industry and people's companies and businesses. And so I sensed a lot of pain and anger, and you triggered something. So you triggered something in a conversation. But if you actually think you're going to tell the carriers what to do or how to run their business, because they're just a DNA that's just not going to change. The real talent in the industry is with innovators like you and innovators we have and companies that have found a way around it. You guys are the movers and shakers. Half the people working at the carriers are just staring into the abyss. They don't know. They're just following their directions. I mean, over here, we got a big thing like, we need more spectrum. Like, no, we don't. But, it's everything's a grift. Everything's about money. And truth is, the carriers don't care about, are we taping?
Yes, we're recording. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Carriers don't care about messaging. They don't care about any of it. And Google look, they're training AI with RCS. What do you think Meta just did? What do you think Meta's been training? They've been training all their AI off WhatsApp. They don't care. Free, this, that, the other thing. They don't RCS. Why did Google stay 18 years? And I think today they just released that the first time Google's ever gone down as far as search.
Yes.
So they're losing out to search for AI. So you just have a new world, but they're all digging for that oil. I mean, Google wants the oil.
Yeah.
And according to some people that I've talked to, even at Apple, that Gemini is getting scary good because they're training all the AI. They're doing everything they can. So that is the new oil. And we're the new oil. So the carriers already, at least in the U.S., already got paid off, and a lot of operators.
Yep, that's true.
And the carriers don't want to deal with regulatory issues for messaging. They don't care. They don't care who's making. I mean, just 2 years ago in the U.S., I don't know about Australia, but they started making money off A2P messaging by charging for it. And they set up the biggest scam company in the world, the Campaign Registry. Why? So they can make money. That's it. They didn't care. They didn't care if it worked. They didn't care what you did, whatever you had to do. So I found your post pretty amazing, and a lot of the comments were amazing. But I think the conversation is valid, John. And but people are evolving. People are going to evolve. People don't have a choice because Google has a $2 trillion market cap, which is around what all the entire operators combined are worldwide. So they're worth as much as all of them combined. So how do you compete with that?
Well, I think it's where you're coming from. I mean, from us, like I don't necessarily look. I'm not saying that there aren't a whole lot of people asleep in the MNOs, right? But if you can find the team that aren't, and there are people in there who aren't, you can change things. We've been able to change things here. Like when we first started realizing, I think I was telling Alan earlier, we started a company called Gift SMS. And the problem with the Gift SMS was the people who were selling them loved them. The people who were giving them really didn't give a shit because they could buy them online. And the people who got them, they were just like, what's this crap? 160 characters from what a great business idea this was. But so when we shifted and said, well, how can we actually deliver some multimedia thing that has surprise and delight impact? MMS was the only platform.
Yeah.
So we went to the carriers. I mean, the rates were ridiculous. We were paying 35 cents for wholesale for an MMS, but we went to them and went, you know what, this thing's got legs. The people who are getting these actually, they appreciate them. You can use it for other purposes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so we managed to get the price way down. We managed to get the carriers to relaunch the product. So they've actually relaunched it here in Australia with guaranteed throughputs, delivery receipts, and makes the product like that product with guaranteed delivery receipts, guaranteed throughput, and like even a minimum bandwidth. I said, look, just set it at 300 kilobits. We'll work within 300 kilobits. I don't give it. You know, this 1.5 meg or 2.6 something meg video, you don't need it. That's just some network nut. The trouble in telco, I would say, and I've made this comment within the post, the trouble often within telco has been the engineers get a hold of something and they like the next new shiny because they move on. And so what we were able to do here is mount a case that said, hey, these assets that you spent all that money on prior to 2011, they're just sitting there doing nothing. Yes, you lost all the P2P MMS, but you've got the gear. So maybe you just want to liven it up. Give Maven a call, get your MM7 going. And anyway, we got some people listening. Yeah. And in the end, they relaunched. Yep. And so
that's pretty amazing.
That's opened up new use cases. And I think you don't necessarily need all the bells and whistles of RCS. Okay, what you can do, and like I must admit, we have a patent on being able to do some really cute stuff with MMS, right? So I'm not trying to push that, but MMS can be a lot of very cool things, and it's simple. One thing in the argument that I see about RCS is nobody understands just how challenged marketing departments are. And I come from the customer side of telco, right? I'm trying to give customers like engagement experiences they can offer their customers. Everybody wants everything on their mobile, right? And SMS is falling short. Email is way short. Its challenges are big. Yeah. And so what's happened in the last, and excuse the rant, but what's happened in the last 12 months, there's been two big recognition. One, SMS has got challenges in terms of spam. Yep. Everyone's using it as a spam platform. Yep. And the second one is that the world's woken up and gone, hey, Gen Z, alphas, and tech-savvy millennials are the new audience. And by 2030, they're going to be 60+% of the consumer audience. And excuse my language, but don't open email. Yeah. So how are we going to get to them? And then when you look at RCS and you think, by 2030, we're going to have RCS? You know,
look, they don't care. Google doesn't care. They're training the AI off P2P. In the US, you got a ton of P2P going on. They don't care. They don't care. They're just another channel. Oh, they're using it.
They don't seem to care about A2P.
Why does Google even have RCS? For what reason? To make money?
You got to be kidding me. I don't know. I mean,
well, here's the reason. It's a very simple reason. They're farming the data.
Yes.
They're wiretapping every single text message, or even across Apple now. So if I'm on Apple and I get a message from Google, I'm being wiretapped, even though I'm on a closed network. So this is just all Big Brother, on steroids. And all they're using it for is to train AI. Yes. They're playing a big game. They don't care about the 10 cents or 5 cents or the messengers or the business messaging. They could give all that. They're just.
I get about business messaging. That's where
exactly.
the world is.
Yeah, I understand you can't. I don't think you have anything to worry about. I don't see it.
You haven't met my kids.
Well, I haven't met your kids, but I think. Look, I think nobody really knows what's going to happen, but I can tell you what is happening. WhatsApp is crushing it. WhatsApp is crushing it. They're farming the data. Meta AI is crushing it. It's just a new ball game, and it's all about the data. It's all about training it. It's all about training AI. So I don't see any reason why else would Google spend 18 years trying to do this?
Oh, yeah. It's always wanted to get into SMS. It's all those companies.
But for what reason?
Because it can, there was the big data story and all the insights
all data.
And the advertising. Make Androids.
They have search. They're a multi-trillion-dollar company. They
had search, but they didn't have any of those conversations, all those billions of conversations that are happening over SMS. So it's always been a desire. And they've angled, thanks to the long winding path of RCS, to come in and save RCS. Because when Google bought Jive,
and look, they've got a brilliant history, Alan. I mean, they've got a brilliant history. They've got like what 12 messaging products that have exploded. I mean,
I know, but let's face it, when you have enough money, you're $2 trillion. You just go again. You know?
Yeah, keep going again. And like the beef I have is, and I think I mentioned this like once before, is I went to a meeting. It was my first MEF and my last MEF, right? I went to this meeting in London, right? And there was a room full of the SMS guys, and all of them were like, "We're not making any money. We're not making any money." Well, that's because you've all just done nothing but add no value and just sell price, volume. You've all taken it out of the market. And they're like, oh, yeah. So how do we fix this? Well, we've got two answers. One, consolidate. And, you know, the guys from Infobit got that message and the guys from Cinch got that message. They went around buying everything they could possibly get a hold of. Now there's all these, you know, how much guys running around the world with money. And then the other one was RCS. This is 2016 in London. And then afterwards I met with Dario Betty. Oh, wow, boy, that's something that I'll never get out of my mind. But anyway, I met with that guy and I was just like, I resigned from MEF. It was and you can tell that.
I think MEF does a lot of good things. They try to run standards. First of all, MEF is promoting Google. I mean, MEF doesn't care. Anybody who gives them $50, they'll promote it. But the industry views it as a place to go. I talked to two guys yesterday that went to a MEF party at ITW. They ran a party because people like seeing friends from the industry, but they don't really do anything. It's just basically a catering room. That's all it is. They try to do standards.
I know. I'm dying to go. I'm dying to go to their new meeting in Oslo in a month's time. I think that'd be fantastic.
You're just going to go meet other people, but I mean, it's
like they travel around. Yeah. Making huge contributions.
I got into this business by accident, and a lot of these messaging aggregators, half of the guys out there can't even spell at the end of the day, and they've become multimillionaires because they fell into a fluke industry of SMS. I mean, I'm still the largest debt holder in a company called Tintech. I mean, you get just the level of quality of people that are running these SMS aggregators. You wouldn't let watch your enemy's neighbor's dog at the end of the day. So look at the quality of people in the industry. What integrity is in this industry? It's very small. Very little.
Let's wind this back though to MMS, because what we've seen, is the glimmer of, you know what, there's an asset you could sweat and you can make some money of it and it delivers value to end customers.
Yes. Yeah, but who are you pitching that to? You're pitching it to the mobile operators who are not listening to us, and they don't listen to MEF either. They're not part of MEF, not the three operators in the USA. They don't care about MEF. That's CTIA. So when you mention that operators are involved in MEF, they're really not. No. It's just China some more, TikTok, Google, China some more, Cinch, China some more, and anybody else running artificially inflated traffic. That's what MEF is. And a few other companies like Cisco and them that think, we've got standards. Yeah, that's what it is.
To try and come back to your sort of your question, Alan. There are use cases for MMS, definitely. Definitely use cases. If the product is delivered with, there are three things that need to happen. There needs to be throughput, there needs to be interconnect, and there needs to be guaranteed delivery receipts. Yes. Okay, so who are we talking to? I think the question there is, can we use this 48,000 as our first step? Yeah. To say to the telcos, I'm not someone who gives up easily, believe me. I've had competitive notices. I've changed industries from within. If it's easy, I'm not interested. If it's hard, I'm in. Okay. And so, because that's what keeps your brain alive, right? Yeah. So for me, we've fixed it here in Australia. Yeah. And so we may not have RCS here. And I want to make a point. I'm not anti-RCS. No. I'm just thinking the poor customer who really wants a multimedia engagement experience on their mobile is not going to get it for a while if they're waiting on RCS.
I mean, look, Cineverse bought ACIT for 66 times earnings for 300 million years ago, right? So if you're talking about Australia or you're talking about the rest of the world, so you want the rest of the world to start using RCS, I mean MMS, but Cineverse, who has the best MMS platform out there, is pitching RCS. So you should probably start with them.
Yeah. No, I probably will. But I think I'm only focused on Australia and the US.
Twilio, that's so you're going to have to talk to Twilio and then go to them.
Let me finish. Please let me finish. Please let me finish. I mean, you guys asked me to come on.
Oh, yeah, no.
Please let me
go
finish.
for it.
Yeah. The capability of the platform is there. It's really like in other countries, Europe, WhatsApp's taken it. In most of the world, WhatsApp, WeChat, whatever platform. So, no, I'm not trying to make the world MMS, Johnny. I think there is a real shot in the US because you don't have a lot of RCS and you don't have a lot of WhatsApp compared to the rest of the world. True. But you do have a lot of MMS, okay? It's not a reliable product. But with a few tweaks, with just a few tweaks, by getting together, agreeing throughput, maybe even setting a 300 kilobit level. Yeah. Just give us something we can build a consumer engagement product around rather than product and a who knows when RCS product as our multimedia solutions. You know, because when I talk to the MVNOs, the guys who've been in the industry a while, they're like, I don't, AT&T, they don't like this bit. Verizon's charging too much. I don't think we'll have it here. And the poor consumer's getting a solution. Yeah. So we've seen what you can do if you agree that maybe emails days as a promotional A2P product are limited. Yep. Not gone, but limited. Yep. If you work on that premise and that SMS has its challenges as well, it still has its use cases, but have a challenge. What is the multimedia product to deliver visuals to the consumer? Well, there's not a lot of options in your market, or there wasn't in ours. And so we were able to convince, the carriers here to relaunch MMS, and it's working. Yep. So if we come back to the election, which I can't believe we're actually on topic again, but if we come back to the election, there were over like from nothing, there was like over 10 million MMSs sent.
10 million?
Sorry, in Australia, you've got to think about a population, like voting's compulsory, right? So the voting population is about 18 million. Okay. We don't have to spend all the money you guys spend. You guys spend a lot of money just getting people out of their homes to vote, right? We fine our people. We're one of like 6 nations that actually actively chases people who don't vote and fine them. Yeah. Okay, because voting is compulsory. But our guy, 10% of the spend, from what I can work out, and I've been digging around since the election closed, I think about 10% of the spend on social and direct was MMS. Oh. And some people sent great gifts. Some people sent the most atrocious, negative gifts. It was just putrid. And then some people sort of sent really classic 1.5 meg video, and they worked. Now the product has shown that it's available, viable, and for the first time, like in the end of last year here, they priced it right. So it's gone from being the 30-something I bought it wholesale 10 years ago to being a sixth of that. 1/6. So, yeah, it's really come down. Wow. And so, it's still 5 or 6 times what SMS is. Yes. But in terms of what it delivers long term, like brand recognition, brand legitimacy, a whole lot of those things. I mean, a picture says 1,000 words, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me get out my MMS, why it's great product. But that isn't the issue. The fact is, if we can actually lift the A to P with multimedia and SMS, and the best thing is there's a second life for SMS because MMS followed by an SMS follow-up.
True. Yeah.
Very, very solid. Very, very solid stuff.
But one of my concerns remains, TikTok, WhatsApp, and as you said, there's all these, younger generation that use those platforms, and those platforms have a lot of credibility for those. So, it's always that dynamic between, I get it. It's an underused asset. And my God, why haven't we been taking advantage of it for the last X number of years? Because MEF
and Google have been running interference.
MEF has no power. MEF is a catering hall. MEF does nothing except hold meetings around the places. Google is the one spending hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes.
Don't talk about MEF like they have any power at all to do absolutely nothing. They do nothing. Since these people,
let's talk about Google. You've got these Google guys like Stephen Barr and these guys running around the world going, whoa, these people have done RCS, and they're posting and posting and posting. You'd think that RCS was the cure to the common cold, the way these guys are consistently posting. This Bernard Heinen guy in Germany. You've got all these people saying, woohoo, this thing's great. And so where is it? Where's it working? Well, in the US, we've got 6 trials, and 5 of them are run by Infobib, and we really don't know much more.
But they don't care.
The person who suffers. Yeah, but the problem, again, I keep saying, I come from the customer-centric view. While all this is going on, the customer's not getting a decent product. And all I'm interested in is delivering a decent multimedia product to the customer that they can use to build use cases. And there are millions of use cases.
Yeah.
But while there's a pretty average MMS product in the US and who knows what RCS, you're very limited to what you can do. And it creates a hole for WhatsApp, definitely, and other products. But, I'm just saying, with a very little work, the carriers could make MMS something that people could use. Look at what Attentive are doing with MMS. Look at who else. You've got quite a few people using MMS in the US. But if you just had guaranteed delivery receipts, woohoo! I could send you a financial instrument.
Yeah.
I could send you a financial instrument. I could send you a gift card. When the gift card arrived, I could get a message back and said, "Yep, they got it." And then you go, "Okay, great."
That's definitely secure.
Yeah, tell that person you got a gift card.
Yeah.
Tell them they opened it. Anyway.
Yeah. No, this is.
I'm not giving up.
No, absolutely.
Listen,
not.
you should never give up. Hey, by the way, it's talking about giving up. What about Tintech? I don't give up either, my friend. You should never give up in life. You should keep fighting, but you should also prepare for. You seem like you got a great business. If you were able to convince the operators and to make a difference in an election. I don't know if it's like the elections over here where we have the campaign registry of blocking messages for the Republican parties. I don't know how it works over there, but it seems like the left won in your area. So maybe it's kind of similar. But if you're able to do that there, that's great. So, I mean, is all your business in Australia or are you worldwide?
We're trying to get into the US, but I won't come there until we have this MMS issue sorted.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's not worth it. Because if I can deliver, you've got, in South Africa they use MMS to deliver billing, right?
Yes.
And it's still using it, and it works. So we could deliver billing, we could do update, we can do gift, we can do any financial instruments.
Just lost Johnny.
He's had enough of me. I didn't let him talk.
No. It was good discussion. This, I think, it feels there's not enough time. But again, for a few specific markets, this is so easy to...
2 markets.
Yeah, 2 markets. US, Australia, we're done.
Correct. And give up on the idea that you're going to get something universal. Email was universal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it ain't universal anymore. WhatsApp's gone too far. WeChat's gone too far. There's no way of bringing it back.
Yeah.
So let's just work out that you've got to be an omni-channel deliverer.
Yeah.
And then you've got to have your failovers. And, you know, it's a complex infrastructure that you've got to build to get to everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, that's going to happen. I think, you know, having the use case, it's proven in Australia, and then just being able to extend that out to North America, I think is very interesting, because let's face it, it was only a matter of, 6 months, 9 months ago. It's like, RCS, it's going to happen. Sort of Apple's agreed to it. The world is beautiful. And here we are, June.
It's a great meeting in New York. Everybody came together and then came out and posting RCS. Everybody drank the Kool-Aid. Sorry to use it the Kool-Aid's not a good expression in your country, but
it isn't, unfortunately. But I think this needs more discussion. I think that, the carriers, and I think that's one of the reasons why we've seen so much interest in your post, I think are looking at this. I think, hey, is this something we can turn around in a few months? Because it's only a couple of months, and they could have something that is easy, no brainer.
You just got to find some network engineer who's prepared to go back and work on something that isn't brand new.
Well, I'm sure they have them, I can tell you that. But
I speak like someone who's been in this industry a while.
Yeah. But I think this is interesting. And I think it needs, especially over the next 6 months, a proper discussion and action. Because it is.
Can I give you one number that'll blow you? Can I give you one number that'll blow your mind? Okay. By 2030, in the US, digital gift cards will be the primary delivery. Email is not working, okay? And we talked earlier about the audience having shifted to opening email.
Yep.
Okay. In the US, digital gift cards in both rewards, loyalty, and actual gift carding, 10 billion transactions per annum.
Wow.
US alone.
Yeah.
18 years in a row, gift cards have been the most. So, and it's the perfect. It's the perfect application for MMS.
Yep. I agree, and it's already there. It's just a few tweaks to make it work more reliably.
Delivery receipts, throughput, pricing.
Exactly. I've got to drop my son off a swim. So again,
swimming.
Thank you so much. I'll get this all edited up and pump it out tomorrow, okay?
Good on you, mate. I love talking to you. Thank you.
Take care. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.